Good evening, everyone. We are at Chateau Sentimental.
It's more like Mysterion's
Chateau
lair.
Mysterion.
More like Mysterion's lair.
Lair of
And
doom.
I'm here with the Sentimentalists, who are a duo. And why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about you. We'll get into it.
Well, I'm Steffi K,
And I'm Mysterion,
and we are
the Sentimentalists, performing as two minds.
that work as one.
Great. Amazing. And you guys missed it, but I just saw a miracle involving a mermaid, real mermaid.
As real as it gets, folks.
It's funny. I've never been here, and this is quite a unique space. I don't know if this is open to the public. I mean, this is your private space.
If you want, you can take some shots of this after we're done filming, and you can edit it in, and they can see what you're looking at.
Right.
Because this whole place is filled with oddities and unusual artifacts from around the world.
So one of the biggest problems that I have in magic, just from the way I've experienced it, is I feel like a lot of magicians and people in magic are really skeptical. Like, I feel like there's been a skeptic movement for a while, and it seems like today there's a whole generation of magicians who don't believe in magic and who don't believe in the mysterious. And seeing the stuff that you have around your house, which is very mysterious and magical in a lot of ways, why don't you tell us your thoughts on that? Should magicians believe in magic? Is it okay for the public to believe in magic, as in like real magic, Harry Potter type magic, mystical stuff?
No, I don't think that people should believe that magic is real, but I definitely don't agree with pulling back the veil and saying this is just fake.
Yeah.
You know.
As well, like the open skeptics are usually the ones that really want to believe. Anyone that says, I'm a skeptic, they're just saying, please show me something that I don't understand.
Yeah. You know, people have their choices. They have their mindset. I could say to somebody, look, we're not really using telepathy, and we do, and they'll go, no, you are. End of it. And as much as I want to keep hammering it down their throat that we're not, they're no, you are. So I look at it like this: we're going to entertain you. I'm going to create a world where the impossible can happen. Steffi's going to create an ambiance of the impossible. I'm going to surround myself with unusual items and things that are considered mystical, and people are going to react to it whatever way they react to it.
How long have you known each other?
3 years? Is it 3 years now or 2?
Yeah, 3.
But you legitimately do have moments, though, where you feel like you are reading each other's minds. Do you not?
Oh my God, she reads my mind nonstop. She knows what I'm going to do before I do it.
Stop!
So, I mean, is it so far-fetched for people to believe in telepathy? For example, like, I'll tell you personally, I do not have definite proof that there is any such thing as the psychic realm, or, you know, solid proof of telepathy. Like, I couldn't bring you someone and say, this person can read your mind definitively.
Me neither.
However, I still believe that it could be possible.
Well,
Do you believe it could be possible?
I think there's a lot of coincidences, and that's how I like to look at everything. And sometimes there's more coincidences, and sometimes there's less. But we create something that makes you think that maybe there's more coincidences than not.
I mean, is it possible? So, for example, you feel like, I mean, many people have this feeling that you might be able to have a psychic connection with somebody that you know really well.
I have a feeling that when you're having something that you can call a psychic connection with somebody you know their patterns.
So is it like an extreme form of pattern reading, almost like a computer? You're recognizing patterns, which allows you to predict the future.
In a degree, yeah, to a degree,
and because you don't know, or, you know, from an outside observer looking in, couldn't that be defined as mind reading or psychic in some way?
Absolutely.
Intuitive.
Yeah, intuition, like an extreme intuition. Isn't that what being psychic is? Or is it a mystical power?
I mean, being psychic, the technical term for being a psychic is to have an ability above and beyond your 5 senses that defies logic. And if you're looking at something scientifically, which is studying a pattern or a system, and you're able to decode that system with some form of accuracy. You're not really doing anything that's magical per se, but you're doing something that's incredible. That could exist. I could follow patterns of people I know quite well and predict their movements and what they're going to say or how they're going to react to a certain stimuli or situation. And that even goes with audience member stuff when certain people have certain attitudes or when they come up on stage and they have a certain demeanor.
Well, that's also something I look at when we have someone that's coming up on stage, or when Mysterion is going to, let's say, he says to the audience, hand us something, anything you want from your bag or wallet, or we have a cat back there that's Mysterion has a cat that's like crinkling around. So there's this, he'll go to the audience and he'll say, hand me anything. And I like to know who it is. The first person he goes to, I like to know who it is. So I glance and I see, okay, it's a woman, or okay, it's an older gentleman, and so I'm gonna assume, he's gonna hand something from his wallet. He's not carrying a bag; he's carrying his wallet. So it'll be something like that. It just gives me some. It's like a tactile look.
It's a tactile advantage.
Yes.
And so that kind of eliminates a lot of the other options. I'm not saying that a woman isn't going to give you a necktie or a wristwatch, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
And so when you can start predicting, per se, what people are going to hand you based on your own experience of, for example, and I'm not dismissing what we do, but there are a lot of people that have similar photographs on their phone.
Okay.
And so when something that comes up that's common, and Steffi responds to it and goes, look, it's a picture of a kid. Holy cow, that's psychic. Well, it's incredible. Then you get into areas where, somebody shows us a picture of, for example, I don't know, a ventriloquist doll, for example. And then you're getting into an area where it just becomes weirder. People are going to look at it and go, well, hold on a minute here. That's not a common picture.
Yeah.
And they can apply whatever modus they wish to how we did it.
Something else I noticed is, so when we ask people to draw an image, with the, Mysterion will be blindfolded and I'll be there also not looking in my own way, and I'll know who it is that's on stage. So we actually had a woman on stage, and she was probably 55 to 60. And she said, I'm an artist. And we were like, this is wonderful that you're an artist. And she drew a picture of a duck. And I thought of how a woman who's about 60 years old, who's an artist, would draw a picture of a duck. And I drew it spot on. It was like a downward angle of...
it was exact.
Of a knock-kneed duck. And...
It almost had a 70s look to it, because
Yes.
that would have been when she was young and looking at illustrations of this type of thing in a book. And you applied that knowledge that
and that's just my knowledge from osmosis of and reading books and looking at art and doing estate sales and seeing what people have in their homes and what a typical duck would look like to a 55 to 60 year old
how they would perceive one.
how they would perceive one.
Perceive one.
It's the same thing like I hate this example, but that movie Eclipse, no, what is it, the vampire movie. Oh no.
Twilight,
that one,
Twilight,
yes.
yeah.
Twilight.
So the book cover has a hand holding an apple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you would think of someone with an apple. Like holding an apple, that's how you would think of it.
Yeah.
And certain age demographic, that's how I always perceived it. And
Right.
it's just generalizations, quickly being able to generalize what someone is going
So someone
to
from that
think about.
generation, if you ask them to think of a hand holding an apple, may navigate towards the cover of those books.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's true. That's very true. And those patterns that come up, or the way people pick things, an older person might go, well, I'm going to pick somebody I don't think that she's going to know. And meanwhile, they're going to write down Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
I think Steffi knows who Rita Hayworth is. So, they're being triggered by Steffi's style to retrograde their thought to pick somebody from back in the day. Then they write Rita Hayworth, and then Steffi comes out and said it's Rita Hayworth. I think it would be more unusual if they were to pick Jessica Alba.
Really?
Because she's not so much in the...
How about Megan Fox?
well,
Doesn't come up that often,
yeah.
but it does come up. Yeah, maybe
10 years ago.
She's come up maybe 4 times for us total, and we do a lot. Like the names that come up the most, like depending on the group and depending what they've just seen and depending what they were all talking about.
What about that famous German?
I know a lot of
actress
guys that have come up for Megan Fox.
from the black and white movies.
No wonder.
Which one?
Marlene.
Marlene Dietrich.
Yeah.
Miss Marlene
Did
Dietrich.
she come up?
Hasn't
Never?
come up yet. No.
No, not often.
Wow. Sad. Sad.
You missed my
No.
Megan Fox joke.
What was
I'm
it?
Oh,
sorry.
you'll have to watch the video
We'll
and
have
see.
to- we both missed it?
You both missed it.
Man.
Everyone at
Damn.
home is in tears,
Damn.
rolling in their rooms.
Damn it. No, it's a very curious subject to me because, I mean, I feel like there's so many things that are magical to different people, and it's all based on their perception
Yeah.
and their knowledge. Like, this is, a cell phone. I mean, we know what this is.
And that's magical
We
to
know how to
somebody who
use
lives
it.
in the bush.
This is this is a
It's
magic.
true.
Like no, but seriously, but not even that long ago. If you showed this to somebody
Yeah.
like 50 years ago,
That's
their
unbelievable.
mind would be blown, like legitimately blown.
Where's the projector inside? How do all those photos fit? What the hell? There's no connection. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems that I see as an active entertainer and working with the public so much, I mean, Steffi and I are on stage nightly, sometimes 2-3 shows a night, and every demographic of people, from bar mitzvahs to corporate functions to street festivals to you name it. We're seeing everybody. We're seeing, and I hate to be classist, but we're seeing people from all different backgrounds, all different income levels, educational levels. And I find that people will go, well, you're going to get the naive people. You're going to go after the naive. You're going to fool them. You might fool them into believing something. It's funny. The people who actually are more prone to think that we're doing something that is legitimately psychic are the doctors, the lawyers, and the people that have higher education.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and they'll go, this is something I've always been interested in, and you might get occasionally some people, but most people, especially children, they'll go, that's a trick, or you're using your hand to tell her something. Or
That's funny. Do you think it's because children are used to being tricked by adults and different things? Like they're used to adults having an upper hand on them in like certain things, and that they're like, oh, that must be something that I don't know because I'm just a kid. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that's what it is with kids?
kids are
And like somebody
Weird.
who is more educated, like a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, someone like that, being like, oh, I have all this education, I don't know how it works. Maybe it is real.
No, kids like puzzles. And that's all they're doing is they're learning things by being taught puzzles and solve the puzzle, do the crossword puzzle, do the maze, do this, do that. And what we're doing is a puzzle. And so
Yeah.
they're trying to solve it. And they want the
Yeah.
answers because they're used to asking their parents, Mom, how does that work? Why is the sky blue? Why did this happen?
Yeah.
So, of course you're going to ask when they see something and they have the access to do it. It's not just on television where you can't ask a question.
they have an inquisitive process versus the lawyer who has a predetermined idea.
That makes sense.
And I think that's what we're experiencing. And I think that ultimately everybody who comes out of watching our show is left mystified. And if you're not left mystified, you didn't do a good show as a magician. I don't care what your approach is. If you're going to stand there and disclaim your show from beginning to end and tell everybody that you're using body language when you're really using electronics, I mean, that to me is just absurdist. But it's a great out. But when you really boil down to it, you have to leave the audience mystified. If you're giving them the answer, if you're saying, well, I knew what you were thinking because when I said 7 of diamonds, you did this really weird thing with your hand, and then when I said this, you kind of blinked. Well, you're telling them, even if it's the wrong answer, you're telling them how the trick's done. And then they're going home and going, yeah, the show is good, but I know how we did it.
Yeah.
There's no value in that because you're kind of letting people just close the door and go on with their lives. Whereas when Steffi and I go in and do it and she says, you're thinking of Marilyn Monroe. Well, how'd you do it? Well, we have a special way of communicating. That's the truth.
It is the truth.
But it's also a lie. And it leaves that sort of idea of, that world where that happened. And wow, they did this thing and she told me I was thinking of so-and-so. We never go into areas where it's something that would be considered taboo. Now, we are in LA. When this airs, it'll be in the past. Ooh, weird. Time machine.
One of us might be dead. Maybe. I hope not.
He's going in my sideshow room.
Well, then you guys are never going to see this video.
Oh, true.
I mean,
Touche.
actually, you could upload it, but then it would sort of give away that you killed me. I mean, unless you cut this part out. Anyways.
We'll forget about that.
Forget about it.
But yeah, we're doing a seance.
Yeah, I didn't really want to do that at first, but we came to that conclusion, and I'm really looking forward to it now. I can't wait. I want to do it. It'll be exciting and different, and I will really get to use my acting skills.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The Mystic Museum in Burbank is a collection of Ouija boards and talking boards and things that are used for communicating with the dead. And so Steffi and I went in there on our last visit to LA. We were actually at the Magic Castle performing in Burbank on our morning off, and saw this, and we were talking to the owner and said, listen, because I want to have some sort of a seance show. I said, well, listen, this is what we're going to bring you. But I think the most important thing is to say that this is a historical recreation of a seance.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about seances. Reset this. Let's talk about seances. I feel like seances are a very, very taboo subject, and for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about dead people coming back. You're talking about spirits, and it has had a very weird history in North America. I mean, there have been seances reportedly in the White House, amongst other places of prestige.
Our Prime Minister King used to hold seances in Parliament and talk to his dead mother, or think he was, to answer questions on parliamentary debate.
And this is, what is your, I mean, and you're doing a seance show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and your feelings on the whole thing? Because I know a lot of people have concerns about it and interest and different things.
When you go on a haunted hayride, and if you've ever been on a haunted hayride, a good one at least, you go into the forest and there's a guy with a chainsaw chasing you down, and you're in the haunted maze at the Screamers or one of these exhibits, and you're going through and there's scares and there's a guy walking through with blood all over him, and you're scared and you're freaked out and you know that it's not real, but you're in an escape room or these extreme situations now where they kidnap you and this sort of an idea. You're in this environment for the purpose of living out the fantasy of a real horror movie. What I like to see a modern seance as, and the best way to put it would be, you are experiencing a spirit potential as long as it's in the border of being entertaining. You can come in and you can have the Ouija board, things can levitate, books can fly off the shelves. You're going to get scared. I personally, not without Steph, but in my past as a solo entertainer, had made full-grown people pee their pants at the show, and they were just so scared. And afterwards you kind of have to go, it's kind of a show. Well, it's a hell of a show, but I'm not telling them, I'm talking to dear Aunt Agnes who's coming over to tell you, sign the will over to her brother, some bullshit. You know what I mean? It has to be done in a way that is ethical, and I don't see anything wrong with using the format and formula of a seance to entertain.
Well, especially we're going to be using it in a historic format. It's not that we're using something modern and saying, we're going to communicate with someone that, and we're truly going to communicate with them. That's not it. This is a show. Mm-hmm. And we're very clear it's a show.
We're not Long Island Medium.
No.
So I mean, it's clear that it's a staging, and that's not the correct term, not the staging of a seance. It's clear to the audience that this is an experience that they're experiencing within the context of a theatrical experience.
Yeah. And I mean, anyone can research ideomotor muscle reading and how Ouija boards work, and it's very easy. You go on Google, there it is. We're not going to sit there and say that the Ouija board is being controlled by a spirit force, but we are going to scare the crap out of you because She won't know the name that you're thinking of, and the Ouija board will move to those letters and spell the name of your whomever you've chosen. And I think that is the scare. That's the freaky part, because people know that this is, you know.
You know, it's funny. Like it's not everybody, but so many people today, I feel like have a skeptical approach to things, but there's so much of an interest into the paranormal, into the subject of ghosts, into the subjects of aliens and UFOs and all these things. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people in 2017, in the 21st century, are still interested in this stuff? Even though we feel we're so sophisticated, we've explored every nook and cranny on planet Earth. Well, not every nook and cranny, but quite a few. Why do you think that is? What do you think? What do you think people are interested? What is it about that? What is it about the unknown that attracts people?
I don't know.
People like things that they're scared of, and I think that's one of the things that people are most scared of is not knowing.
Not knowing.
Yeah,
They like horror movies.
That's it.
I don't know. I'm terrified about what's going to happen in a year from now and 5 years from now. I don't know. I don't know who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. But
When this airs, one of us could be dead.
that's right. But I'm still so excited to see what's going to come tomorrow, and I want to know how my story plays out. I want to see where technology will be in 20 years from now.
Do you think that's why people? It's funny what you just said. Well, not funny, but interesting. You want to know how this plays out.
But
Do you feel like that's why people watch horror movies, even though they know there's a monster?
They want to
there's
see the
something-
person escape.
They want to see something.
or
wanna
them get bludgeoned.
Or they want
Yeah.
to see what's going to happen.
Sure.
Do you think that's what we want to see when we go see it? Seance. We know that. I mean, is it ever presented as like maybe nothing will happen, or is it always?
I've seen a
something will
seance
happen?
where nothing happened. I saw an entertainer from this area perform a seance where there were absolutely no results in a 45-minute time frame of 35 people sitting around a table, and nothing happened. And it was, I'm not going to rate the show, it was interesting that was the approach that was taken, but nothing happened. And that was sort of the idea. Well, you know, got a wrong number. Nobody picked up the phone on the other side.
Nobody picked up.
I mean, it's
Do you
it's
think that's
interesting.
less interesting than something happening? Well, obviously,
I think it's
more
interesting.
interesting when something happens.
It's just interesting.
Something starts floating off the table. That's
Yeah.
you know, we've made contact. It's more
Yeah.
interesting than you know, ET not picking up.
Right.
When
I mean,
he's
let me put it
calling.
this way. I've often said this to you, that if you were really legitimately trying to communicate with the dead, you're sitting in your room, it's dark, and you've scared yourself, you just watched a horror movie, all you gotta hear is a creak. That's it.
Game over.
Game over. Your mind starts playing tricks on you.
I cannot watch horror movies at night. I literally,
Really?
I love horror movies, but I watch them in the morning. That way, I have like the whole day to get over it,
Yeah.
and then I go to bed.
We went to see It,
Oh, how was that?
Fabulous. I loved it.
and she's like this the whole movie, and I'm laughing, and then midway through I'm going,
Laughing and
I
laughing and
don't like this
talking.
anymore. I don't know. It was really good, actually.
And I kept going, shh.
Quiet.
So,
Did you see that? Shh. Yes, I saw it.
You know, some of the stuff we do is historical reenactment.
I would say a lot of it is because that's what everything is based on is
Yeah.
a history.
I mean, even
love-
what we're doing when we get back from LA with the balloon.
Yes. That's
So,
what's
what's
the
it
balloon?
called? The event.
Nuit Blanche.
Nuit Blanche.
Okay.
Um,
When is that? That's coming up. That's oh gosh, I'm bad with dates. That's coming up very soon. That's like next week. I think I'm gonna be here for that.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, you will be here. You will be here. Well, you'll be around. I don't know if you'll be
Yeah.
there at it.
I would love to be at it. I haven't been invited, but I'm gonna show up. I'm joking. There's no. It's open. You just go.
No, there's a no Maddie.
yeah, no Mighty
Yeah,
Claus.
sorry. So tell us about the balloon. What is this balloon? What's going on?
Well,
Well, We're working with Hendrix Gin, and they love us and we love them. And they're putting me up in a hot air balloon, and I'll be flying over top of Nathan Phillips Square.
Wow.
They're stopping air control, so it's groundbreaking. That's never happened before. So they're stopping air control. I'll be up in the balloon. Mysterion will be on ground
How
level.
high up?
I think 44 and a half cucumbers.
Yeah, something like that.
44 and a half cucumbers.
Yeah. Or
Quite
a
high.
quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Higher than City Hall.
Higher than City
Wow.
Hall.
Hovering high enough that it's up in the
I've
air.
never seen that. Wow.
Never has a hot air balloon been over the city of Toronto, ever.
I think it's cucumbers like stacked like upwards, not like downwards like that. I don't
Why
think
are we
it's-
measuring in cucumbers?
Because Hendrix Gin is cucumber infused.
Cultivate the unusual.
See, this is what happens. I've been drinking the wrong gin.
That's right.
Hendrix is great. I don't consume any alcohol, but when I did, Hendrix was awesome. Bye, Hendrix.
So I'll be up, Mysterion will be down, and he'll be with the mayor, and the mayor's going to think of some poetry and write it out. Mysterion's going to look at it and then send the thought up to me, and I'm going to recite the poetry from the hot air balloon, just like the Piddingtons did from the airplane.
Wow. And this is, how are people going to be able to watch this? I mean, obviously they're going to be able to watch it, but to see your part of it, how are you communicating the message?
Megaphone.
Megaphone.
Yeah.
Wow, old school.
Megaphone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got one coming. You don't know that yet.
I didn't know that.
She didn't
Megaphone.
know.
Oh, yeah, now I know.
There you go.
She's not real.
Now,
No, no joke.
what I like about that whole idea is that, it's so straightforward. Distance,
Mhm.
two elements. There's the air, the earth, two minds connected. Very old school, the hot air balloon.
Love it.
You
I love
know-
it. I love it.
It's fun. And anyone can watch that and just be entertained. They don't have to pick it apart and go, they're faking it, there's
Yeah.
something going on. Never any electronics, no setups, no Confederates. That's always the way we roll.
It's highly fun. That's all we
Awesome.
want.
That is so awesome. It's like, I feel like today there used to be this old school, familiar, wholesome type of entertainment that is really lacking today.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's like so simple and so pure. Like, somebody can take their whole family to it. The kids, like, it's a really wondrous thing, an air balloon, and like, there's a girl in it and she's reading a mind. It's like it's magical.
That is very magical, and
Yeah.
that is and I like the way you always describe it. Is that it's I'm gonna word it the wrong way. You maybe want to take it over. It's the closest you can get to.
Oh, a cinematic experience.
Yeah.
That's great. And is somebody filming this? Are you guys having?
We have an independent source filming it, and on media night we have a lot of media. I think that she said 400 media people are in attendance.
Wow.
Don't tell me that.
From everywhere from Al
Oh my
Jazeera
God.
to City TV to.
Oh, stop.
I'm not kidding. Everyone around the world, yeah. Yeah. Australian air or an Australian news, BBC Canada.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So basically, don't screw up.
No, he just winked. You're a traitor.
There was a few. There was a good chunk coming.
I know.
Yeah,
There's
no, but it will be
people
covered.
dying.
It's
Apparently
I mean,
there's a lot.
Believe
of
me, that's gonna be all over the place. That is something that doesn't happen often. Like
It's never happened. To my knowledge, it's never happened to
Uh,
Magic from a hot air balloon. I mean, I kind of looked it up and it doesn't.
No, but like
exist.
a hot air balloon in the city, you just don't see that. That's
No.
really cool.
With Steffi in it, which
Yeah.
is just great.
It's like another added bonus. It's a force multiplier. That's what it
That's
is.
exactly what it is.
Um,
Then I'm gonna saw the rope and bye.
if she doesn't get it right, you saw the. That's
That's
That's-
that'd be good.
if she doesn't get it.
You should be doing that. You should be sawing the rope. and then I
Guys,
should walk
breaking
over.
news. We're adding a condition. If she doesn't get the prediction right, he's cutting the line, and she will perish. She will fly up into the stratosphere.
Into the sun.
She will fly up into the sun. She will be the second country after North Korea, second human on the sun.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Kim Jong Un was on the
He
sun.
walked on the sun.
He walked on the sun.
True story.
No
So-
comment.
But you know what his favorite song was in the 80s? Katrina and the Waves. I'm walking on sunshine.
Really? That's funny.
Laughter ensues all across the Magic
That
community.
is funny. So, if people want to
Do you know why his dad died?
He had a heart attack.
No, he
didn't
was Kim Jong Il.
Wow.
He was.
This is what you have to put up with.
Yeah, typically.
Thank you for that. If you guys would like to see more comedy and what you guys do, mind reading,
Yeah,
it's a whole show. It's a whole gamut of things that you guys do. Really.
If you want to show them
Yeah.
something quick, and this isn't prepared, open
Yeah.
up your telephone
Okay.
and your telephone.
So if I don't have anything illicit on
Yeah,
here.
and show us a photo. Show me at least a photo of something on your phone. That's a little unusual. Something that there's no way she would know what it is immediately that you're
Okay.
showing us on your phone reel.
This is
I'll close
anything.
my eyes.
okay. This is going to be something that she hasn't seen.
Right, because we were looking at images on your phone.
Okay, this-
Some amazing cards that he's
Okay,
designed.
this
Yes.
is something that she wouldn't. This is not typical.
No
Right?
hints,
I don't
no
think it's
hints.
typical.
Okay.
Let's make this happen. This? Well, just put that image in her mind.
Now,
Yes.
Me or her? Me?
you. Yes. Thinking about what this is, and I'm seeing something. I'm seeing. Is this something to do? Wait, paper? Does this make sense?
Yeah. A answer?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a book.
Yes.
And you'd hold it like this. You know, usually you hold a book and you look at it this way, but this is a kind of book you'd like tilt it and you'd like look up, or you'd show customs. You're
Yeah.
thinking of your passport.
Yes, I am.
Great. Now, what year was he born? We really don't know.
1989.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what it says.
That is
There you are. So
That is amazing.
that's an example
Wow.
of something we would do.
That's amazing.
Oop! I swiped right. Oop! Too much information.
Well-
There we go.
Cut. No.
Ooh.
So if people do want to see more of what you guys do, it live in person because you guys
October
do live shows.
24th at the Super Wonder Gallery on College Street. And if this is airing during the month of October, every night at Canada's Wonderland Halloween Haunt.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you in our favorite place.
The future.
Sleep. Let's steal his camera.
Okay. Hold on. I had to reset it.
Oh, no problem. No
Sorry.
problem.
You want to hold this
Yeah,
for a
no
second?
problem.
Sorry. Didn't mean to be awkward there for a moment.
No.
Is it good?
Let's
Fantastic.